welcome to episode 12 of Cinema Curse. Tonight, The Exorcist Believer, the controversial new horror sequel that asks the question, what if an Exorcist movie was kind of boring? And directed by David Gordon Green, who just finished his own trilogy of Halloween films, which we'll also be talking about. I am your wicked game master, Connor Lloyd Cruz, and with me, again, is the Joey Chestnut of talking about movies, Edwin Gomez.
Hello, America. I'm walking in a secure location somewhere in downtown Los Angeles. As you can see, there's dogs barking. I'm crossing the road. I'm a man just trying to secure the pizza. Dog would not silence. I'm all about peace, dogs. I'm all about peace.
Also here.
Hey, what's up? It's Edwin's parole officer, Daniel.
And
hey, it's Brian, and I'm honestly just here to see what shenanigans Edwin gets into and hopefully gets arrested.
yeah, Edwin's sponsor.
Yeah, Edwin's sponsor. We all kind of have to wear that as a cape as every day. That's just our makeup.
I want to say thank you to Marina Sakamoto and her band Shunkin for the use of their song Curse off of the EP She Nods for our opening. And it's been 91 days since the SAG strike started, and the AMPTP still sucks. Yeah, I guess let's talk about this movie, this new movie hot off the presses. I'm going to an underpass to talk about it with my other friend, so we can do little magic spells with each other and get possessed by
That's
demons.
a good find, though. You got angles on that, though.
Yeah.
Like, I get where you're doing with that. Good on you.
Brian, do you want to give a general summary of the new Exorcist movie, Belieber?
Sure.
Based on the Imagine Dragons song.
But yeah, obviously. So it's a movie about exorcism and possession. And then you slapped an IP on it and called it a sequel. And that's really it. There's stuff that happens. It's kind of boring. It's kind of dull. I think the best comparison that I actually read pre-seeing it was a spoiler-free type review. It's like getting stuck on a road behind a Prius, and you realize there's nothing you can do. There's nothing, you can't make any moves. And you venture through, and you're hoping that car is just going to pick up the speed as the open road goes, and it doesn't. And it stays there, and you realize you're stuck. And that's mostly it. We'll go into detail, but that's my summary of the experience.
It's a pretty concise.
Without any detail or meat, just the surface.
It is hard to get into what it is about without just sort of saying, well, here are the things that it is. Here are the spins they put on the original movie, but there isn't any sort of larger storyline. Like one thing we're going to get into is I didn't hate this movie, but it ranks pretty low on my list for the year. It's decidedly the worst Exorcist movie I've seen. It's almost certainly my least favorite movie David Gordon Green has directed. And one thing we're going to get to is I actually kind of really like, or at least the first one, and I admire and have a lot of respect and like a lot about his other Halloween movies. And those, at least, they have like a take, like the first one is about this ongoing trauma that like continues afterwards. And this new one is just kind of like bouncing in like certain idea. Oh, it's two girls with two different families. Oh, they start off, it's in Haiti when the earthquake happened instead. And it's there's this thing is plugged in for that thing. And, it is sort of bottom of the barrel, fine by default in the way most major studios movies are. Just extremely generic in a way that like is surprising to me. I wonder if this is a studio mandate, or I wonder if Green was just being extra lazy or something. But it feels especially strange to me coming off of his Halloween trilogy, which I think is, in my opinion, decidedly not generic and makes some very strange choices.
And I think for me, once I realized immediately how I could tell the film looked. Like my biggest thing with horror, I mean, we're all big horror fans, but for me, it's like the atmosphere has to be there before we do any shenanigans. If I'm not buying into the atmosphere, it's just sort of like, it's not as fun to like then fall into all the good stuff. And for this, I could feel like it was almost aimed at an audience that it's going to be great for like the teen slumber party overnight, like it's going to terrify some girls or people who are, or guys or it's going to young kids who aren't into horror and haven't been exposed like we have. This is a perfect movie. It's a great intro kind of a thing. It's not the greatest movie in the world. It's a pretty generic screenplay, but it's efficient enough that I think it's got an audience.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like I've watched plenty of horror where, excuse me, you just know immediately it's bad. Like and these, we filmmaker fans of ours that you're just like, no, this is just a bad take on what this is. But I can't be mad at this.
Yeah.
For that reason, it's just not for me. Yeah. And that's great. There's a lot
of like little things that are good about it. You know what I mean? Like you could probably make like a 5-minute compilation of stuff that I thought was cool. I thought the makeup was good. There's like a demon design at some point that was really cool looking. Mm-hmm. I didn't like the denouement of the movie, but I liked the climax and how like dark it was in a way. I
think it was just the sheen on it that took away, because I can realize in just like the way the film looked, it felt more geared toward like Nickelodeon scare. And I'm not, it's not quite on that desperate level of it, but it feels more like that than like a horror movie I genuinely want to go see to be scared by.
Yeah.
Which again, I could see that for that audience. That's great, but like that also took away from some of those great moments. Because you have to really fragment them to go like, oh, that was cool.
Yeah.
Because when you're lost in the sheen of the gloss, it was hard to find that.
It is very much so like a handful of very, very thin little moments. Like, there's a couple, like none of the actors embarrass themselves, I would say.
No,
and
everybody did perfectly fine.
And the girls, for being their age, did a good job, I would say, definitely.
Absolutely.
There's even a couple little lines like, when the Leslie Odom Jr. is the single father of one of the girls, and the other parents are more religious, and they sort of come to him with the idea, like, I think our girls are possessed, and there's this like long scene where they're telling him about it, and he's just not saying anything, and then the scene abruptly ends with him saying, I think you guys need to get more. You're not muted, Edwin.
What?
We can hear people talking.
Oh, yeah.
You mute yourself?
Me?
Yes.
Oh.
Just for the moment.
Okay.
I just mean mute yourself when there's like people talking near you that is going to be picked up on the thing. If there's not the people talking near you, you can unmute yourself, I think.
I'm talking about like setting up the camera rig and everything. Yeah. I'm thinking of like a pod we have to build around him, like make him a robot.
I felt very stern there, and I don't like it. I didn't like the way those words felt on my lips, and I'm frankly, Edwin, I'm mad at you for making me do that.
You're being a little hard on yourself on that. I think that was proper.
But yeah, anyways,
technical.
The end of my anecdote from the movie is Leslie Odom Jr. says, I think you guys need to get more sleep, and then the scene like hard cuts out of it, which is a funny beat, and there is a kernel of a good idea. There's two good ideas that if they had focused on one and built the movie around that one idea, and not both ideas and incorporating this legacy sequel stuff, I could see something interesting. One idea is the two-family thing, because there's conflict there that could be interesting. And the other is the multiple religion thing, the idea of like different religions having different approaches. But because they're both there, and because the movie's also trying to serve as a legacy sequel to the original, it has these three very different masters, and it can't really quite do anything with them except just like run through all of
live
the
in
beats.
its own little bubble of it.
And
absolutely.
Honestly, the most offensive part of it is probably, for a movie so glossy, they should have cut out the like 10 seconds worth of more sexual stuff in the movie when it came to the possession.
It was totally unnecessary. It's almost like we wanted to be one kind of film, but like we think we're this other. That was just a moment of like, I think probably being in it so long, they've lost perspective on
it's just way too
what kind of movie it was.
Way too glossy of a movie for something like that.
Right.
But
it's the stuff that made it was a harsh watch in the original because it was so effective and it was visceral. Whereas this just felt forced, and it was like, okay, cool.
But you know, I mean, my final thoughts on the movie are: I don't think it's very good. I hope William Friedkin is able to haunt him, because it would mean proof in the afterlife. But I hope if William
I'll find it.
If William Friedkin's gonna haunt him, you should also haunt Paul Schrader and Rennie Harlan, because they also did that shit, Bill. So, and
he's had his chance though. He had plenty of years to like just do his own in-person shaming, which I feel like he did. You know, honestly, just being at Beyond Fest for the last couple of weeks and every day being reminded of William Friedkin, the tribute, since he was, you know, in honor of the whole festival. You just reminded of that. And it was a little extra special thing, even watching opening night with the Exorcist happening and then being in that house where we're just so, you felt that energy. And I think he'll do his part.
Yeah.
He's the man. You know, it's William Friedkin.
The full quote is, Ed, the guy who made these new Halloween is about to make one to my movie, The Exorcist. That's right. My signature film was about to be extended by the man who made Pineapple Express. I don't want to be around when that happens.
It feels really like
when I come back,
throwing Pineapple
I plan
Express.
to possess David Gordon Green and make his life a living hell.
Feels like he's really throwing Pineapple Express under the bus in that quote. Like
he's
that's
really just angry at Pineapple Express.
I think out of context. I mean, I think if he was just randomly throwing shade at it, that's one thing. But he's like, look, you're making Exorcist, bro.
Yeah.
This is my movie. He got a little petty.
Yeah.
And I love him for it. I love him for it every day.
Yeah.
So he is definitely going to do his due diligence. This is a trilogy.
I mean,
this is going to be a trilogy.
I mean, to be
Oh,
fair,
is it another trilogy?
well, we'll
is.
see. We'll see.
Is that where we're at now? It's a we'll see.
I
now?
think it's a we'll see now.
Copy. No surprise there, obviously.
And it does sound like David Gordon Green maybe just does, even if they do it, he doesn't even want to really do it again, do another one again.
I saw some like a pull quote in passing today where he was just like, it was really hard.
Yeah.
You know, or something, just like just that simple of a.
I could almost see to a certain degree, again, like this is going to go, I mean, I want to clarify, there is no David Gordon Green movie I like more than about like 4 or 5 William Friedkin movies. I just want to get that my full appreciation for these two in context. But I do think people are being a little too harsh on him. There's like people like he should like be burning in hell, and I'm like, all right, guys.
Yeah.
Like let's maybe.
But that's just that's extreme culture of where we just are in life, where everybody has to have the extreme. Let's go extremity. At the end of the day, I don't think anybody's that hurt over it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. But I guess do you want to talk about a little bit of spoilers?
Sure. Just, I mean, at least a couple of the.
I don't really have much to say, but I think you have a couple of spoiler things to say.
I'll put my headphones down.
Okay. Edwin, do you give a shit about spoilers? Okay.
It's more just the Ellen Burstyn thing.
Yeah.
And just, I mean, I know she was very like not really wanting to be a part of it as it was. And I think like Universal and Blumhouse came through to her. And I think she donated the money she made from charity, I think I read, which is great. So obviously you kind of had a feeling it was going to be more minimal usage. But just the way they just sort of knock her out is funny. And a two-way punch. One, the way they address sort of a line that's the callback to the original Exorcist. The patriarchy line, Connor. You want to talk about that at all, or we even care about that? There's that obviously, and then the other one, just to me, the craziest thing is there is a sequence where there's like with one of the girls, there's a battle where she's throwing her prayers and everything she's doing, and they're going back and forth, and the cross ends up in one of the girl's hands. They stab out both of her eyes, and so she just lives the rest of this film,
the rest of the movie,
with this fucking bandaged, like weird bumblebee cone, thing. It was just the strangest thing to see a character, and then even like during the way they integrate her in the exorcism, it was like she's just in this other location, feeling. Yeah, it was fucking. It is
very strange in the context of coming off of the Halloween movies, where that 2018 one is like built around Laurie Strode as a character. You know what
it's
I mean?
A legacy character's films. That's the ultimate example.
She is that, and then in this movie they try to squeeze in a little bit of it, but it's like kind of pointless.
It's like the last drops out of that line. Thing. I can't get anything out because there was nothing in it.
I don't really,
other than literally like
Yeah, I don't really understand.
You're like name checking specifically like items in a film, like to make her the legacy character. You're like name dropping like this particular moment in the film. Remember, kind of almost it was too.
And especially
there was nothing to build around her.
Especially to stab out her eyes. Like, I would just say, just stab
stupid.
her. Just have her be normal stabbed and be bedridden if that's what you need to do. You know what I mean? Like, it seems harsh. I don't even remember what the patriarchy line from the original is, to be honest. I thought people were just mad at that because they were bumping their head on that word.
It was when she was first like meeting everyone, and she was telling the story about like how she's experienced the possession, but she never actually got to see an exorcism because of the patriarchy of the priests and all this shit.
Yeah.
And it was just, I think everybody's naming that because it's a buzzword right now to obviously use. And it really wasn't anything other than saying like, in reality is you were insane in the first Exorcist movie.
Yeah.
Like batshit crazy. No human being would have wanted you in that space, you know? And then
true.
It sort of just got forced into this idea of then being like, well, you know, she actually just got shit on, you know, and so it was just a weird false like pushing of a narrative for no reason.
I think it's that word being used more than anything. Specifically,
that's where I think the buzz came from. Like, I don't care, but...
because I think you could also read that even if that is true of what she was in the original, you could read that as her reading of the situation and not necessarily
totally that because she's the way. Yeah, of course.
If I was them, I would have rewritten. I would have swapped in the word fraternity because I think or something like that because it gets the word across without like triggering.
And you're linking it. You're linking it to priests and not about you're going into another deeper layer just to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're pointing out the sort of male aspect of it without sort of using this buzzword and also sort of doing something that could be read multiple ways because you could just read it as their group.
Totally.
And then I did like the ending. I liked the horrible choice they were given, and it was
clever.
I knew it was coming. Like I knew like okay, well clearly whoever basically for people watching, I don't give a shit about spoilers. The demon gives the families a choice, which is they have to choose. They basically they say one girl lives, one girl dies, and they have to choose. And the implication is that whoever they choose lives, but it's pretty obvious the demon's doing a nasty old trick, and whoever they choose is gonna die, and then that happens. And it's just a very it's a pretty dark, like startling climax, I think. And in a better movie,
it's something we've seen in different other movies, and I think that's the thing.
Yeah. In a better movie that focused on the two family thing and the conflict between them, and that was the whole movie, that would have been like a great climax.
They clearly didn't like each other. Like the charisma of character, and that's a testament to obviously casting with it too. You immediately felt the vibe of these characters going like, oh, they don't like each other at all. Like it was established that like these weren't best friends and best friend families that had grown up for the whole youth of these girls. It's like a pretty new friendship, it seems, but they're really close, at least from like the family connections.
Well, I'm ready to move on from this movie.
I haven't thought about it again until now. So,
Daniel, join us again, Daniel.
Hey, I'm back.
We're moving on to talk about David Gordon Green's Halloween trilogy. And I guess before we get into that, I think it's interesting to note that he has a full Wikipedia page that's just unrealized projects for him. And he has a lot of stuff. He was working on a Suspiria remake in the 2000s apparently. Which is interesting.
I'm fascinated to see what that would be, especially because Luca went in such a clearly opposite direction that he would have gone, you know. There was some Hellraiser TV series he was working on, but some of this stuff is all over the stuff too. Some of it's like more obvious, or it's like okay, well, like Hogan's Heroes, something. Sure. Like tied to what I think most people like him for, which are his more his dramas and his comedies. Right.
But I really liked his Halloween movies. I guess, Daniel, do you want to give a summary of his Halloween trilogy?
Yeah, there's sort of in the vein of a lot of these legacy sequels. Halloween, the original, or his first movie, David Gordon Green's first Halloween movie from 2018, is a direct sequel to the original 70s Halloween and sparks a new timeline that moves things through that about
which is something that's been done before.
Yeah.
technically.
Yeah, this is the second or third. This would be the third or fourth Halloween deviation timeline, I believe.
It's the second deviation timeline. It is the fifth total established timeline in the entire series. If we're also counting Halloween 3 as a separate timeline, which I think you have to, and the Rob Zombie films as a separate timeline, which I think you have to.
And the main focus of these is Jamie Lee Curtis's character, Laurie Strode, dealing with her, like the post-trauma of Michael Myers coming back into her life, and the person that original experience made her into.
Right.
Yeah, and then the first one really focused on Laurie and her daughter and granddaughter, and the second movie took place on the same night and continued it, and also incorporated this secondary storyline with this this sort of mob that starts with people from the town, certain people who are, from or have been affected previously by Michael Myers. And then the third one takes a real left turn and jumps forward a few years and is about this guy named Corey who sort of is kind of groomed to be a serial killer by Michael Myers and led that way by the experiences of the town. I just rewatched these. I rewatched the first two with Celeste and the second one with my friend Benny as well. And I think the first one's great. I think the first one's really good.
I like the first one quite a bit.
I understand why people don't like these. They have a pretty melodramatic tone, and they're definitely not subtle. But I like how these eschew the sleaziness of certain era of slasher movies and replace it with like actual attempts, in my opinion, to tell stories. Whether or not those attempts are successful, I think they kind of aren't largely, but it's better than me. Like, I don't know. I get so, the one thing I love slasher movies, but I get so skeeved out by like the tone and sleaze sometimes, and I like that these kept a degree of that gore and tone and stuff while not making me feel like a trash, like I've contributed to people being exploited, which isn't, this is kind of an unfair, like this is me like
it's definitely a little bit of a,
I'm overplaying the
there's a lot of greatness in that genre too, obviously, but,
no, for sure.
I know what you mean, the extremities of it where it gets like super,
where you're just like, all right. Like,
like there's that section of like where you're just like, oh, these are movies I haven't seen, and you're like, oh, that's a lot of reasons I haven't, but within that genre is obviously like there's a lot of great winners, but I know what you mean.
And I also think they look great. I think Johnny C's score is great on all three movies.
That's what makes it a Halloween movie.
Yeah,
really, to me.
And yeah, I'm curious what you guys think. I have some more thoughts, but I've been rambling.
I think the trilogy is so interesting. I like the first one. I was not a fan of the second one. But then the third one, I think, is the most interesting sequel subject matter in the Halloween franchise to some degree. Like, I don't know if the execution fully works, but it's so interesting with what Green's trying to do. I
think
I sort of wish. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think a big issue with it, in my opinion, like a big fundamental issue with it, is that while I like the actors, I don't, the two like younger leads essentially of the movie, I don't think they have a lot of romantic chemistry, and the movie kind of gambles the whole thing on that a little bit. Like me believing that this would be a real, especially compared to considering how little screen time they get. I do think like Jamie Lee Curtis and that guy Will Patton playing the sheriff do have a little chemistry when they do their little allusions to them like.
I think if it would have started like it's such a strange turn as the conclusion of the trilogy. I feel like if they would have hinted at this was sort of building into something, so they could have maybe established the relationship between the granddaughter and Corey earlier on, just so that we felt there was like an audience connection to it. It does have, I did not rewatch, but I remember the first 5 minutes of the movie are it's a great opening.
It's a
that
great,
just sets a tone.
I think the opening's great. I think that actually the ending is pretty great, especially like the visual references to the ending of the original Halloween and what they do there. I think
real issue I had, I thought beyond that was I thought it was the least scary of the three.
For sure. No,
if you were to rate, it just felt the tone was very odd.
Definitely worst kills of the three. Yeah. The only good kill, these are light spoilers, but the only really good kill is the DJ, I think. That one's pretty good. But
it's the one. It's when I think back about them. It's the one that sticks out. I don't think it's the best one, but I think it's just a really interesting. It's the kind of interesting that made me excited for The Exorcist, because I was like, oh, maybe he's really channeling this idea of a take on something that's got interesting subject matter. I just keep using the word interesting. A subject matter that is different and not obsessed with sort of trying to recreate, but build something new that feels like it belongs in the world to some degree. But it doesn't seem to be the case for The Exorcist.
No. What do you think?
I will be curious what he does next, though.
Yeah,
after this,
I kind of would be.
Like,
I mean, honestly,
next?
He should just use whatever sort of cachet he has to get sort of like to do something original that he wants to do, and maybe
it would be a horror take on something original would be really interesting, because everything else, so much of everything else he touches is dope.
Yeah. Him and Danny McBride working together to do some sort of like R-rated horror comedy sort of thing.
Yeah,
like that.
I'd be into that.
That'd be sick. And and this, like I said, this is coming from, but I don't think the world. I think the Halloween movies he was maybe a little more suited for, just because I think one thing that as comedy writers that they were really good at was getting you to like people within like 10 lines of dialogue who are then going to die, so then you were kind of bummed out when they did die.
Right. Totally.
And I think they had a skill at that, but I mean, I hope he pulls up and does some better stuff.
When some of the stuff, like he directed all of season 2 of Vice Principals, which I think is a killer show. I know he directed a bunch of episodes. He's been down, and I don't know how much of Righteous Gemstones he's directed, but I think the pairing of McBride and the other writers on those 3 shows with him on something original in the horror world would be a really cool take.
I think that's the key, that originality, because I think when you're just trying to go after something that has that legacy, it just doesn't work. Like, and I think in general, it's really a tough thing to do in general.
And it's even The Exorcist. I was reading that it has a $30 million budget. Like, those are sort of like we talked about before. Like, that's the like type of movie that we're missing. And so that type of number in original property seems like a really good take to maybe get something off the ground in a really cool way.
Edwin, Pizza Man, do you have any thoughts? You've seen the first one.
I have from it. Yeah, it's pretty decent.
I think I'm a fan of it. Yeah. Pretty good.
He's in a pizza haze.
It's
lost in the sauce. Straight zooted.
Pizza boy.
Oh, man. I don't know how I'm going to walk back.
Quick side question. What kind of Zod did you get?
Pepperoni, as usual.
Okay. Yeah, no shit.
Where's pepperoni?
Yeah.
Shout out to Pisanista.
I could have answered that question to you.
Yeah.
I'm willing to be surprised. I put on the suspension of disbelief that I could be surprised.
Casey couldn't join us, but he wanted me to share the thought that he thought he thinks Halloween Ends is really badass, and Corey Cunningham is horror. I don't know if he's meaning the character or the actor playing the character is horror cinema's next great twink. And so which I would maybe put it more of in a twunk or an otter category, but that's just me. What do I know? It's funny, like being at the, like, I would recommend his Halloween movies. I would not recommend his Exorcist movie unless you were a 15-year-old girl at a slumber party. I think I specifically think Kills is a little underrated. I had a blast rewatching it. I think the kills are great. I think the look is great.
Did you watch them like back to back or like pretty close?
Pretty close, yeah.
I kind of think that they might. I would be curious on a rewatch to watch them one after the other.
The subplot.
I did not revisit Halloween before Kills, and so I was just like, I don't know what's going on.
The subplot with the town doesn't really work. But I think that the kills and the look and the score and the movie is like, you know, more than half of that essentially. It's definitely the most just focusing on him. So if you're just into like really aesthetically cool like slasher stuff, I think that one is a lot of fun, and I think the crowd stuff is interesting at the very least. I think it's like
it's kind of the same thing where I think there's interesting stuff being said. Execution maybe for me enough to be desired. And I just remember that weird. There was like the weird joke with the gay couple that felt just like in a different. It felt, I guess maybe it's supposed to feel like an 80s movie, but it felt very out of place.
It didn't feel like hateful to me. It felt
not hateful. It just felt out of place.
I know what you mean, but like it felt fun to me. I like. Are you just talking about the joke about their names?
Just like their entire their subplot felt like it was kind of tiptoeing some stereotypes.
Yeah. To a certain degree, I don't think it was too bad personally.
I should rewatch, and I do want to say, for all intents and purposes, Jim Cummings as in the flashbacks
kills it.
Innocent, rules. Love Jim Cummings.
Yeah, and Edwin is in jail right now. That's what those bars are behind him. I love that they use the Halloween 3 Season of the Witch font in Halloween Ends, which is a little, when you're watching it, it's like like a little tip to the hat when you're watching it. Like, this one's going to be a little different.
I love that movie.
And I think generally speaking, people are being a little too harsh. I got to call out Brian. I got to do the anecdote from the other night. I don't know if you saw this coming. Do you remember the conversation we had?
I honestly, we've had a lot of conversations, so it could be coming from a lot of places. I was talking to Brian. I was like, hey, I think people are being too hard on the David Gordon Green Halloween movies, and he was kind of like, whatever. I like the Rob Zombie ones, and then he started describing to me a scene from the Rob Zombie Halloween movie. And I'm listening to him describing the scene, and I'm like, this is the opening of the David Gordon Green one. Like, this is you were rewriting your memory to dislike these movies. Look. This is why my brain is so overloaded with so much of the same things sometimes. And I just did 15 movies in the last 2 weeks with Beyond Fest. Mm-hmm. I did like 3 or 4 outside of that with you guys and all that, including Exorcist, and that's where it came out. But I admit I like some of the David Gordon Green stuff. I just don't like the experience overall, and I'm not enough that I care, and that's my biggest thing with it. Yeah, like I watched the first one when it came out, watched the second when it came out, and just was kind of like whatever. And to the point when Kills came out, I just didn't care, and I think I was busy. I had stuff to do, and I missed the theater cycle. I never cared to just get into it. And that's what made me just kind of go. That's why I honestly just appreciated the Rob Zombie, because it was just so out of its control.
For sure.
But narratively, I know they're all just fucking kind of garbage, generic shit.
I'll say this. I like... I just fucked up my Word doc. I like I like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 more than either of the than Kills or Ends, because Halloween 2 is really out of control in my opinion because of the
That's
whole.
why I almost want to go in blind at this point because of the hype that even Casey, like I've gotten.
You never
Casey's
seen
kind
his
of on
second
my
Halloween?
page. What's the third one? I'm sorry.
You never seen Rob
this?
Zombie's second Halloween?
No, I saw that one. I'm talking about the David Gordon Green. What's the last one?
Oh,
called?
Halloween Ends. Yeah.
That's the one I haven't seen of this whole of all the Halloweens.
Yeah. No, I meant Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 I like more than Kills or Ends.
Okay, copy. Yeah.
And
great.
I haven't seen Rob Zombie's Halloween yet.
it's fucking weird. It is.
It's Rob Zombie's universe of it. And if you like his shit, you're gonna probably have fun with it. Like if you even really hate the way his style is, like I admit, I'm not like a diehard Rob Zombie fan, but I appreciate a lot of the style, like growing up with his everything with his universe. But he's not the craziest, deepest filmmaker. So if you don't buy into it, maybe you won't like the Hollywood, But if it's something you're into that style and going for a different route of it, I had fun with them both.
What?
It's basically him remaking. It's Rob Zombie's Fire Walk with Me.
Totally.
Which is like, I don't know if Rob Zombie is equipped to make that movie, but he tries. He tries.
He tries hard. He really does. Like some of it, you just like at a certain point, I'm like, I know what we're doing, and I just kind of fall into it.
Yeah.
And this, I don't know. It's a fun little. That's what horror kind of is in a weird place for me too. Is there's so many campy, dumb, stupid things that we watch in this genre that there's just certain things I just want to go into that, and that's where I am with those Halloweens. Versus, do I feel like sitting for the David Gordon Green ones?
Yeah, for sure. No, I get it. Different strokes from different folks. I was just talking about how hate warps your brain. I
just dislike intensely, Connor. I don't hate anything.
Croc says that the tweens call it H2. So just so we know.
Nice.
I think it's time to move on. Oh, we got a Kevin cameo in the BG.
Yeah.
She's curling up in her little bed.
I tried to get her in a spot, but she just kind of blends in with
the
lighting. Take a little snooze.
Let's
Uh-oh.
Welcome to Connor's Wicked Games. Sponsored by Chris Isaac. Every week, like Jigsaw, I like to play a little game. Tonight's game, 7 degrees of David Gordon's Scream. And the way this game is going to work is I'm going to give you clues about an actor who has collaborated with Mr. David Gordon Green and a major horror film that they were in, not one of David Gordon Green's movies. And so what I'm looking for is the name of the actor and the major horror film that I'm alluding to. You'll be able to get 2 points, one for each. So you can get a point just for being able to guess one half. And we'll have people take turns going first. If that sounds good. Edwin. Edwin, are you there? You want to go first?
Yeah. Copy that. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So one of David Gordon Green's most frequent collaborators, what actor donned a cowboy hat in what Ridley Scott helmed horror sequel?
Good.
Edwin first.
I'm so confused now. Wait, I'm so confused. Repeat that one more time.
One of Green's most frequent collaborators, what actor donned a cowboy hat in what Ridley Scott horror sequel?
Aliens?
You're naming an actor who was in a movie.
Bill Paxton.
In Aliens, all right. Brian, what's your guess?
Danny McBride.
In
Alien 6. Resurrection? No, it wasn't. Is it Resurrection?
I will accept Alien 6 as if that's the correct answer. Daniel?
I also think it's Danny McBride, and it's
It's the one with the wheat.
Alien. What the fuck is it?
That's what I'm saying. See?
Covenant.
Yeah.
Covenant.
Prometheus is
Covenant.
the prequel.
Yeah.
Covenant?
Technically, I understand if someone called it Alien 6, I'm like, I get it. I'll accept that. I'm not gonna have you guys. Some of these have the stupidest subtitles. So you get that, Edwin? We were looking for Danny McBride and Alien Covenant.
Yes.
Okay. So here, this one will start with you, Brian. With a front end cameo in Green's Pineapple Express, what comedy actor took over a role in what modern horror sequel?
My God. I can't think of anybody. Like, do I have an era of the modern sequel by chance?
What if I say modern to me means like, I don't know, last like 10 or so years.
Okay. I have nothing. Sorry. I think brain just really zapped out. I can't think of anything.
Daniel?
Repeat it one more time.
With a front-end cameo in Green's Pineapple Express, what comedy actor took over a role in what modern horror sequel?
It's like the black and white. Is it Bill Hader in It, Chapter 2?
Edwin?
That's my guess.
What's your guess?
I'm sorry, what was it again?
With a front-end cameo in Green's Pineapple Express, what comedy actor took over a role in what modern horror sequel?
Mike, are we asking for an actor?
Actor and a movie that they were in.
Fuck, I forgot his name. Fuck.
If you name one of if you can name one of the two, you get 1 point.
I know it's Pineapple Express.
Well, yeah, that was in the question. Of course, it's Pineapple Express. I'm looking for a different. You haven't been paying attention at all. I think you should pass.
Okay, pass. I pass.
All right,
Alex.
Daniel gets 2 points. It was Bill Hader in It Chapter 2.
I have not seen that movie since it came out.
We did it at the drive-in. That's the only reason.
Oh, funny.
Yeah,
I remember nothing about that movie.
And I had a moment where I thought we put in the wrong movie. It's that great moment where Bill Hader's smoking weed and he starts to do his little like dance.
Also, Edwin, you have a lot of pizza grease.
I know.
On your face.
I know.
Are you on the ground or against the wall?
I'm against the wall.
Oh, okay.
And he's like an art installation right now.
Yeah.
Whoever he's marked that out.
Daniel, appearing as a kid in Green's The Sitter, what actor got heavily traumatized in what recent A24 movie?
Appearing as a kid in Sitter. Appearing as a kid in The Sitter. I can't think of any of the children in The Sitter. Wait, son of a bitch. It's, I think the movie's Hereditary. I can't think of the kid's name. Something, is it Naked Brothers Band guy? Wolf. Can't think of his name.
Edwin?
I will pass because I am so as lost as Daniel was.
Brian?
I believe it was Alex Wolff with Hereditary, who also killed it in Pig.
Yep, absolutely. You get 2 points. Daniel gets 1. That was Alex Wolff in Hereditary. Yeah, it's like a 10-year-old, I guess. He's in The Sitter, apparently.
I've never seen him for Pig, and it was like the first time I saw him like kind of do anything post Hereditary, like in close proximity. And it was just like like I thought to myself, what is that kid thing? You know, like coming from the roles, and obviously Pig is so different.
Give me a second. I'll be right back.
That it is funny to have him, because I think he recently said that, right? That, about the trauma moment with it.
Yeah. All right. So here, this one's for you. Starring as a teacher who is presumably fucking weird in Green's Snow Angels, what weirdo actor starred as the Tooth Fairy in what movie?
Repeat the question again. What?
Starring as a teacher who is presumably fucking weird in Green's Snow Angels, what weirdo actor starred as the Tooth Fairy in what movie?
Todd Noonan
In
Manhunter.
Brian.
I'm gonna actually go with Edwin's side on this one, because I don't know. Otherwise, it's a good one. We'll go with that.
Daniel?
I don't know.
I haven't seen Snow Angels, so I don't even know.
Yeah, I just don't know.
Edwin was confident in his delivery, but I also
That's what I mean. That's why I was like, you know what? I'm gonna side with the guy who's got this thought. Whether it's batshit crazy, terribly bad, I'm like, what do I gotta lose?
Exactly, man. Oh, bow down for me.
I'll pass.
You shouldn't have. He was. I mean, you said Todd Noonan. It's Tom Noonan, but I'm gonna give it to you, because you know it's a slip of the tongue.
Side with the. I trust in Edwin.
Brian, collaborating with Green on Prince Avalanche, what actor formerly also fought Michael Myers in what movie?
These questions are weird, man.
I almost want to say like Malcolm McDowell, but I can't think of a 1 year reference.
Uh-oh. Hey, I'm back.
You get booted?
Continue. I just sometimes it does that, but it's fine.
Did you get my answer at all, or
What did you say?
Malcolm McDowell? I couldn't think of a film with it to go along with it, but
Daniel.
Prince Avalanche is.
I love the score of that film.
I can't remember which Halloween, but I think it's Paul Rudd, and I think it's one of the Halloween like after 5. It has like a subtitle. I don't know what it is.
Edwin.
Paul Rudd.
In
Halloween Curse of Michael Myers.
Full credits to Edwin.
Edwin got that totally, and that makes so much stupid sense now. Of course.
Did I get it right?
Job,
you did.
Yeah,
yes.
You got it right. Of course, you got it right.
Wow.
As soon as you're saying it, it made so much sense. Good for you.
All right.
I only know that from the meme of Paul Rudd talking about it.
This one's for you, Daniel. Having collaborated with Green twice, first as a lead in Snow Angels, second as a drug lord in The Sitter, what Oscar-winning actor starred in what poorly received remake of a famous haunted house movie?
Wait, one more time.
Yeah, it's a lot. This concept was maybe a little too like I should have figured out a better way to word this. But having collaborated with Green twice, first as a lead in Snow Angels, second as drug lord in The Sitter, what Oscar-winning actor starred in what poorly received remake of a famous haunted house movie?
A famous haunted house movie.
Just don't know those movies.
Just trying to burn through the leads. Oh, but Snow Angels I haven't seen. The Drug Lord and The Sitter is. Famous haunted house movie. I could just guess a haunted house movie, maybe.
In an Oscar-winning actor.
Oscar-winning actor in a haunted house movie.
The wine, by the way, Croc, is La Ferme Julienne, a French sparkling rosé. It is good.
And yes, Edwin does have a little bit of little sauce.
He's been lost in the sauce.
He's got pizza, got a poster.
I think you got to pass.
I'll just guess.
Or make a guess.
Haunted house movie. I'll just guess the Haunted Mansion.
Just say Eddie Murphy, man. That's all I'm gonna say.
Eddie Murphy's Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
What actor and what movie do you want to guess, Edwin?
Eddie Murphy have an Oscar?
Eddie Murphy in the Haunted Mansion.
And Brian.
I'm into that. I'm going to side with Edwin again.
Yes.
Well, thankfully, you're all wrong. It was Sam Rockwell and Poltergeist. Remember there was a Poltergeist remake a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
Sam Rockwell was in it.
I forgot he won an Oscar.
Yeah.
Yep. For that
course he
movie
did
that
that.
he's good in, but isn't. I don't like that movie that much. Edwin, this one starts with you.
Oh, God.
Doing fucking something in Green Snow Angels, Wikipedia did not give me any more information. What actor starred in what legendary werewolf movie?
Oh my God. Shit. Benicio del Toro.
In
Wolfman.
Brian.
Trying to think. It's I'm gonna just say is it American Werewolf in London film? I can't think of the actor name. That's what I'm saying.
Daniel.
I like American Werewolf in London. I don't know the actor's name. It's the guy from After Hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know his name. So, but I think American Werewolf in London. American Werewolf in London, I do believe, is the correct movie.
Yep. 1 point to each of y'all for Griffin Dunn in An American Werewolf in London. I think he's someone's dad in Snow Angels, which I guess is like a drama or something. All right. Here we get into the extra, the extra hard ones. We'll see. Some of these movies are going to be easier to guess than the actors' names. This one starts with you, Brian. Starring in one of Green's early films, a psychological thriller named Undertow, what daddy also had recently had a turn in what slasher sequel?
Man, I just don't know enough of the core part of it. I'm thinking like a Scream or something.
Do you want to clarify that guess?
Yeah, I'll do Scream 6.
Daniel?
I'll do Scream 5.
Edwin?
Friday the 13th, Part 6.
What actor?
Oh. Shit, I didn't think that through. I retract my statement.
Okay.
You
want to give a new guess?
Yes, I'd like to give a new guess. Oh, hold on. It's coming to me. Shit. Oh.
It's coming to him.
By the way, did I say Scream 7 or 6?
You said 6.
I think you said 7.
Okay, because 7 hasn't come out yet. For some reason, I keep forgetting where we are with the timeline of these movies.
Oh, yeah, right.
6, what was the last one out?
Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, Lawrence Fishburne.
That's another point for Brian. It was Dermot Mulroney in Scream 6.
Thank you.
Yeah, Daniel, this one starts with you. Appearing in Green's Pineapple Express as a nervous hitman, what character actor had an early role as an altar boy in what Blatty-helmed horror sequel?
Oh.
I would assume Exorcist 3. 'Cause it's the only one I know that he did the horror film in. Repeat it one more time. I'm sorry.
Appearing in Green's Pineapple Express as a nervous hitman, what character actor had an early role as an altar boy in what Bloody Helmed horror sequel?
Character. Couldn't tell you. I'm sorry.
Edwin.
What was the question?
Appearing in Green's Pineapple Express as a nervous hitman, what character actor had an early role as an altar boy in what Bloody Helmed horror sequel? Trying to name a character actor and a Bloody Helmed horror sequel.
Exorcist 3.
And
Like Tim Robinson.
Brian?
I'm just throwing my ring into Exorcist 3 just because it's been checked twice. But I don't know the actor.
Kevin Corrigan, if everyone knows that motherfucker. Character.
Kevin Corrigan.
He's worked with Scorsese a few times. He's in The Departed. He's like DiCaprio's cousin or
he's
something.
In True Romance.
Yeah,
And,
he's all over the place. He's a character.
He breaks
actor.
up the
He's one
party
of those
in
guys,
Superbad.
Yeah, these are all one of those guys, peoples.
Yeah,
these next couple
So
actors.
confused.
I need to remember these. I need to remember these.
That's the
names.
thing. As soon as you start talking about the movie, you know.
Oh,
I can't take it
That
anymore.
guy.
Edwin. There's only two
Can't do
more.
it.
There's only two more, Edwin. This one's going to you.
This is hell.
All right, Edwin. Edwin, if you want, I can give you an alternate. Question, but if you do that alternate question, you have to answer that one. You can't go back to the original. But it's just for
Okay.
you. But do you want the? Let me give you the question first, so everybody can have it. Starring as Jake Gyllenhaal's dad in Green's Stronger, what character actor played a hawkish sheriff in what 90s sequel to a Stephen King adaptation?
Pet Cemetery 2. Fuck. Oh, I know his name. I know his fucking name. Shit, no. He's a sheriff in Pet Cemetery 2. He's in Highlander. He's the voice of Mr. Krabs. Why can't I think of his name? Oh, Clifford Brown. Yes.
You want to take that again?
Yeah, no, that's the answer.
You're almost there.
It's Cliff Brown.
It's not his name is not Cliff Brown.
Carl Brown? No, god damn it. Fuck. I know there's a Brown in there. I give up.
Brian?
I'm going to go with the film side of Edwin.
Pet Cemetery 2?
Yes.
Daniel?
Edwin was pretty confident, but the actor is Clancy Brown.
Damn it!
Yep.
Right? Is that?
Yeah, that was it. Clancy Brown.
Thank you.
I'm gonna
Mr.
give you half a
on you.
point, Edwin, for the name.
Mm.
The having the movie is impressive. I've never seen Pet Cemetery 2.
And I think going right to the Mr. Krabs, you knew.
Yeah, thank you. That was the.
Yeah.
Exactly. I know my movies, man. I know my movies.
I mean, the half point doesn't really mean much.
I deserve it.
But you get it.
Hey.
I guess what it means is you will be incapable of not getting last. Anyways, Brian, the last question. Starring as Dermot Mulroney's brother in Green's Undertow, what actor played one of a chorus of finance bros in what infamous horror comedy?
Can you say that one more time?
I'm going to say this one more time for everyone. No one else gets a repeat. Starring as Mulroney's brother in Green's Undertow, what actor played one of a chorus of finance bros in what infamous horror comedy?
I don't know. I'm gonna say Shaun of the Dead. I have no idea. Really don't. I have no idea.
Daniel?
Trying to think of a finance bro horror movie.
That's where I got stuck. I couldn't go. Like, I'm thinking Wolf of Wall Street. I'm thinking all these different things, but not like horror comedy.
I don't know any of the actors in that movie. Finance bro. Wolf of Wall Street as a horror movie would be funny. The Christian Bale movie.
I was thinking of that too. Yeah, I know what you're talking.
American Psycho.
American
Is that
Psycho.
a horror
Yeah.
comedy?
That's what I was thinking, but then I was like, is the comedy really enough comedy? That's where I got stuck on that one. But I mean,
I don't know.
That's where
I guess I'll pass.
Edwin?
Idle Hands.
You were onto something. It is an actor named Josh Lucas in American Psycho. He's one of the chorus of douche bros.
Josh Lucas?
Daniel?
I got stuck with just the horror comedy, like threw me off because especially I've been seeing some horror comedies.
I think
I get what you mean. It's like the cynical, dark.
I mean,
comedy
it's a very dark comedy, but I would call it a horror comedy. I mean, a horror satire specifically.
It needs its own like subgenres of horror comedy for that reason. Like Totally Killer is a different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
So my brain just went in different places.
But technically, like fucking Unforgiven is a Western, and so is
sure, exactly.
How the West Was Fun, the Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen movie. Those
it's
are technically both Westerns, yeah. But
sure, yeah.
Brian, you got the silver, Daniel the gold, Edwin, you got the bronze once again. You got a lot of those. Man, maybe next time.
Now I'm on a Josh Lucas rabbit hole. Dude's in so much freaking good stuff.
It is a lot. Edwin. You got any cool stuff to show us?
Yeah. You man. A stranger gave me an original one-sheet tool, an underappreciated alien we call FX.
FX.
The tagline is Raleigh Taylor is the movie's best special effects man. Now somebody wants to do it for real.
Oh!
Is he the weapon or the victim? Is it murder or is it FX? From Orion Pictures, starring Brian Brown and Brian Dennehy.
That's all like Brian's.
Yeah.
Hey, that was a good one, Edwin. You had something cool, kind of cool to show.
Was that just what you just got just now?
Yeah, I just got this right now.
Oh,
Did you just order this?
Fresh pickup.
Did you order this off the internet? Did you get it from a special friend?
A special friend, top secret.
His lover. You fucker. But yeah, good job, Edwin. You did it.
Thank you. I sure did.
Anything else anyone wants to say? I was going to shout out this comic. It seemed appropriate with The Exorcist, called Faithless. I just finished reading. It's not great, but it is very good. It's very explicit sexually, and it is about this woman named Faith who is in the art scene, and she starts using some satanic magic to help with her art, and she meets this mysterious woman named Poppy, who has a dad who is like a major part of the art scene and might be Satan. So, it's written by Brian Azzarello, drawn by Maria Lovett, and there's like it's 18 issues over 3 volumes. And yeah. Anything else anyone else got?
I'm doing Hooptober, which is like a letterboxed challenge with a bunch of criteria for like 31 movies in 31 days, a little bit extra maybe into September. And I try to always do stuff I haven't seen. And my standouts so far this month, and I know Edwin's seen a few of them. I'm sure Brian's seen a few of them. I'm sure Connor's seen a few. Alligator from 1980 was fantastic. Dead and Buried from 81 was incredible. Angel Heart, Alan Parker's Angel Heart from 87 was phenomenal. And then I really dug the director's cut of Raising Cain, a De Palma movie I had never seen. And I finally got to watch Michael Mann's Manhunter, which was one of those I kept holding out to be like, oh, wait, I'll see it in the theater. And Beyond Fest ended up getting it. Michael Mann brought his 70mm print of it, and it was phenomenal. I adored it.
You could not have gotten a better version of seeing that.
Yeah, it was very. It was one of those like you get spoiled sometimes. You're like, well, I'll wait to see that in a.
Sure.
I'm glad I waited. It was really cool.
Well,
speaking of with Beyond Fest, I just finished up doing. I did a lot of the festival, and I ended up seeing 15 movies, either at the Arrow or at the Regency, where we all were at one night for The Abyss, which was pretty incredible. And a couple that really just stood out that I didn't expect was a Cemetery Man. It came out in 1994, where there was like a 4K restoration of it, big screen. I'd never seen it. It totally is one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in my life, but one of the most interesting things that sat with me since since I saw it last week. It's been on my brain. Definitely check that out. I think it's going to be released at some point soon. But then Saltburn also, which is coming to the theaters in, I think, the next few weeks. It's Emerald Fennell's new film. It's just batshit crazy is really the only thing. And if I think she's a very, very blunt filmmaker, and I think this is one of those films that really highlight that. And I personally really loved it in that same way that it just stuck with me after. So Beyond Fest was dope, and a lot of good stuff coming out for sure. But those were definitely 2 that stuck with me.
Nice. You got anything, Edwin?
Just keep on trucking to the free world.
Fuck yeah.
And
this is Edwin like half asleep, like, hey man, keep on trucking. You know.
Oh man, I want to pass out so bad.
Well, I want to thank you to Brian Robert, for our ending theme. Please check us out, Cinema Curse 666 on Instagram and TikTok. We're posting clips there. Share this stuff. If you like it, give us a like. I think I have cinemacurse@gmail.com. I'm pretty sure. If you have, you want to say something about what we're talking about. And next week, putting it off for long enough, the Haunted Mansion special. We're talking about the spookiest house I've ever seen. Just kidding. We're per Edwin's request. This is an Edwin episode, so he better actually remember that it's happening. We're talking about Psycho 2, Psycho 3, Psycho 4, and for some reason, the Gus Van Sant Psycho remake. And that's going to be next week. I've seen 2. I got to rewatch 2 and 3 and watch 4 and the remake because I've never seen them. Mm-hmm. And Edwin might bring up, you've seen Bates Motel, that TV show. You said you like that show.
That's right. It's really good. Bud Court, baby.
That's like the craziest name check I've ever heard in my life, and I love it.
But yeah. Yeah, well, that's gonna be it for today. Bye bye, goodbye, citizens.